Hi, welcome back to the Boheme Satchel Sew-Along. We are going to be doing the interior zipper pocket, as well as the interior slip pocket, and the interior strap connectors on this step. First of all, what you're going to need are your interior zipper pocket lining piece. You'll also need one of your interior back sections, center section, and you will need your two interior slip pocket pieces. One has SF101 and one does not. First thing you want to do is take your interior slip lining pocket piece, fold it in half, and give it a crease, your iron. And then we're going to fold it again in quarters. This is to find your center marks. We also need to take our interior center section back, fold it in half, and give it a crease. Always working right sides together. I like to turn mine upside down because I needed to use a ruler on this, and you need to measure from the top. First thing you want to do is find the center and make a line that's 2 inches down from the top. It may look like it's on the bottom here, but it's from the top. I'll turn mine up around just so I can find the center placement. Alright, if you can see that along the top there, we have a line that's 2 inches down. Next thing I'm going to do is take my zipper lining pocket piece, and I'm going to place it so that my center crease is going right along the center of the crease of that, and my horizontal folded in half is right along that 2-inch mark. Carefully open up your zipper lining piece, and what I like to do now is pin it in place. Okay, I turn it upside down once again because it's easier for me with my ruler to do it that way. To make your first line 1/2 inch down and centered on the lower portion. So I'm going to put this down, and we need to make a 6-inch box. So 1/2 inch down. I'm going to take our pen and go over 1, 2, 3 inches from that side, from the center. 1, 2, 3 inches along that side. We then need to drop 3/8 of an inch. Draw another 3 inches out. And another 3 inches the other way. At this point, you'll have two parallel lines. What you want to do is go ahead and connect the sides. 6 inches by 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so now we need to take this over to the sewing machine. Alright, I'm back at my sewing machine. I've got my box here. What I need to do is sew down both sides, or all sides. I usually start a little bit down from the corner. Have my needle down. About a 2.5 stitch length for the sides. What you want to do is follow that line. Alright, I'm back at my cutting table. We have our little rectangle sewn. I've taken my pins out because it's securely on there now, so I don't really need it. Next thing we need to do is we need to cut straight down the center of this line. You can mark this if you like. I will go ahead and mark it just so I can show you. You want to start about a 1/2 inch from each edge. Then you can draw your line. Once you're from a 1/2 inch, go ahead and make 2 little V's. So what you have now is your box that you've drawn your lines. What you want to do is cut on these lines. So now that that's cut open, I will go ahead and go right up to the top of that V, and then you want to cut really close to those corner stitches, but not through the stitches. As close as you can. Remember, we use very small stitch length there. Go ahead and repeat with the other side. There you go. So now we have these cut open, as you can see here. Next thing I like to do is go ahead and give this a good little press. Next I like to do is go ahead and pull your pocket through to the wrong side of the bag, of the lining, I should say. You got something that looks sort of like this. We need to finesse this, so I like to go ahead, roll these edges with my fingers. You really want the underneath side to be almost drawn back some. You don't want to see it from the front. So once I get the one side done, get my iron, and we'll press that down. Next up, what we need to do is we need to take this to the sewing machine. And we have these little triangles that we have created. I don't know if you can see these or not. I guess you can. Right, there's a triangle on that side. And there's a little triangle on that side. What you want to do is you want to take this over to your sewing machine. And you want to sew the triangle down to the lining as close to that edge as possible. It's just a few stitches, but that'll help hold that and secure it in place. Keeps the pocket from ripping out. Gives a nice finish. And then once we get that done, we can install our zipper. And just always remember, you're stitching those triangles to the lining and not to the zipper front, or to the pocket front. To the lining front, I should say. These stitches will never show, but it really does help. Right, as you can see, that one is now been stitched. Alright, time to install the zipper. Zippers, as my wife always says, goes from right to left. My zipper happens to be 9 inches. It's a little longer than I need, but better to be too long than too short. What I like to do is I like to add just a little bit of glue along the edges here. So let me go grab my glue stick. And I'll go ahead and glue just along the edges. No, it doesn't need a lot. Okay, I've added just a little bit of glue to my zipper. Now it's time to center the zipper over top of the opening. Making sure your pull is onto one side. I like to keep my zipper tab right along that edge there. Center my zip, take my iron and set it. Okay, now we need to take it over to our sewing machine, and what we need to do is stitch within 1/4 of an inch from the edge all the way around. So let me go ahead and get that done, and then we'll start sewing down the side. Cut my threads. And your zipper part is installed. What I like to do now is go ahead and, if you have any excess zipper, go ahead and trim that. It's already secured in. We'll double check the back of my zipper tape, and it is all completely secured in there by stitching. If you had seen that you didn't get it completely secured, you want to go back, either unpick it and try it again, because you don't want your zipper falling out. Alright, so what we're going to do is match match your bottom raw edges together, and then with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, we're going to stitch just the sides of each of the pocket. Just the sides. Go make sure you pull your front lining piece out of the way. You don't want to stitch it. Let's see if I can get this out of the way. So this back stitch. I like to open up the bottom of the seam. So if you fold those over like that, then what we can do now, we're not going to sew this, but let's press this. It's easier to press this now than once it's all inside the bag. Press the bottoms. I've mashed this together. Press it really well. Got my zipper here. Opens and closes very well. Make sure you leave this open. As you can see, your lining here, you have a hole and it goes all the way through. That is how we're going to turn our bag right side out. So that part's done. Now it's time to do the interior slip pocket. For that step, you will need your slip pocket pieces. You've got one that's interfaced, one that's not. What we need to do is put them right sides together. What we're going to do is sew a 1/2 inch along the top edge, 1/2 inch along the bottom edge. Let's go to the sewing machine and do that. Leaving the edges open. Alright, now we can go ahead and trim these to within 1/4 of an inch. This will allow for an ease of turning, and it'll also ease that curve in a little bit. I generally just snip the top curve. The bottom is a straight edge, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's go ahead and take it over to the ironing board, and we need to flip this in, right side out. Alright, we're going to go ahead and press this top seam. So it has a nice gentle curve, and then we will press the bottom seam. Now let's take this back to the machine. We're going to just do a top stitch along the top curve here. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and top stitch along the top edge of this pocket. This time we don't need to top stitch the bottom because we're going to be top stitching that as we place that on the actual lining piece. What you need to do is take your lining, we're going to go ahead and pin that out of the way. We do not want to stitch that accidentally into the lining as we're putting on our pocket. Next step is to put this on. We're going to measure up 1 inch from the bottom. And now what we'll do is pin it in place. What we're going to do with the sewing machine is baste right along the edges of each side. We're going to go along the bottom, top stitch right along the top edge of your slip pocket, and then baste all the way back up to the other side. Back stitching at the beginning and ending of each stitching. Alright, starting along the top edge, put my needle down, we're going to go ahead and start attaching this interior slip pocket. Alright, now that that's done, we can go ahead and remove our pins. We have here, I went ahead and used a contrasting fabric, which is the exterior of my bag, is my slip pocket piece. That's, you can use it, you can do it in the same fabric as your lining, but I like to add a little extra so as you're looking inside of your bag. But so far, this is what you're at 1 inch up. Slip pocket, as you can see, it opens up. You will have 2 side panels that will attach to either side of this. We have our zipper here. Remember, it's closed right now, but remember, leave that pocket open or you'll never be able to turn your bag inside out, or right side out. Alright, next thing we'll be doing are the side connectors. Alright, back again. We're going to go ahead and install these little interior strap connectors that we had put together earlier. What you need are your side panels, and you need side panels 1 and 3. At the beginning, Rachel had told us how to cut these out. I'm going to go ahead and number these so that we don't get them mixed up. It's very important because you want your bag to hang correctly. So what I did was I actually wrote 3 on this one and 1 on that. So I know that I marked the top and the bottom in case I would get one caught in the seam. I wouldn't know which one I had. But first thing you need to do is you take one of your 1 or 3 side panel, and you're going to fold it in half horizontally, and you're going to crease the top edge. I just finger press it. It seems to work fine. I'm going to do that with both panels. Panels 1 and 3. So we're at 1.5 inches. And all you have to do, this is a gel pen. It does erase with heat. So what I'm going to do is from 1.5 inches at the top, and where my center crease is, I'm just going to make a little mark right here. That'll be my guide point for how to install my attachment. Earlier we had done these straps, these strap connectors, and I went ahead and added a little glue basting on the inside to put my 2 raw edges together. As you can see, this will be the front side, my D-ring, and that's the back. I went ahead and had these setting so that they had time to set. See the raw edges there, and that's the right side. So what she wants you to do is, from that line, top line, you take the top of your D-ring, and this is going to be centered along that center crease right there. So what I'd like to do is I add just a little bit of glue basting again. Doesn't take a whole lot. It's sort of thick. You don't want to add a lot of glue. I try to keep it away from the edges. Take the top of your D-ring, set it in place, and secure it down. Go ahead and do the same with the other side. Alright, let me go ahead and press these into place and set the glue. Both of these have been placed, centered, 1.5 inches down. I've still got my mark there, but that'll go away with heat. Get that in a second. And we'll take this over to the sewing machine. Alright, back at my sewing machine. I'm going to go ahead and sew these strap connectors on. Make sure that this is straight, which I think it is. It's not real important. It's going to be inside your bag. Start with my needle down. I want to go back over that stitching you had made when you made your strap connectors. You want to get kind of close to that D-ring. Pivot. Go straight across. So you meet the other side. Pivot. But we've pivoted, we go across. Let's go back down. So we get almost to the bottom. And then what we're going to do is go across up to the first point. And then we'll go back straight across. We're making a little X box here. Well, not an X box, but a box with an X in it. And we'll go ahead and take another till we meet the other side again. Then we'll turn, and then we'll finish off by going along the bottom edge. I like the back edge. There we go. See, it's secured there. If you look at the back of this, it has got an X and inside of a box, so that helps add. Now if you want, you can add a rivet to the center. It's not important, not necessary. This goes inside your bag, so it doesn't really show. But I really hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me comments if you liked the video. Please share your finished Boheme satchel bags in the Crazy Christian Crafters Sew Along group. I'd love to see what you made. And thank you and have a great day.